Hey there, folks. It's the saddest man on the planet, Paul Wedding. With me, as always, is my co-host, Leopold Knopp. This week, we're at Eastside Social Club. How the hell are you, Leo?
Well, not as sad as you, Paul. We saw Spotlight this week, Paul. It's a true story about the breaking of the first Catholic pedophilia scandal in Boston, broke in early 2002. It takes place in the span of July 2001 through January 2002 when it was published. It stars Michael Keaton and Mark Ruffalo, John Slattery, Liev Schreiber, Rachel McAdams, and that
mustache guy.
That fucking guy with a mustache.
What did you love about this movie, Knopp?
Everything.
Let's start with Mark fucking Ruffalo, who is a fucking force of nature in this movie.
He's so adorable.
Okay, so
He's perfect.
We have some bias because we actually were reporters.
I think we have some specific on-the-job knowledge.
Mark Ruffalo is the dream reporter.
Mark Ruffalo is the fantasy. He
gets everything down. He gets the twitching down. He gets the questions down. He carries a notebook in the back of his jeans. He
carries a little satchel like I do.
He cooks shitty food in his tiny apartment. He's separated from his wife because he's so invested in the work that he's doing.
There are a couple of scenes of him in his apartment, and both of them are him scrambling around because a source called him at like some ungodly hour.
Yeah.
And he's just like, what? I get to do more journalism things? Where's the fucking notepad?
You can just really tell how much fun all of them are having. This is one of the few movies I've seen that really captures the adventurism of journalism.
It's the purest profession. This isn't to say that it's not a pretty dark movie.
This movie practically turns into a fucking horror movie.
Mm-hmm.
Because there are shots in this movie that you don't notice at first, but the movie goes to great lengths to show you just how the Catholic Church is literally ingrained in Boston society. There are churches and crosses in probably more than half of the scenes in this movie.
Yeah, they've got this one shot toward the end from Boston Harbor with the Grand Cathedral central to the skyline. There are crucifixes behind walls everywhere. At one point, Rachel McAdams' character, Sarah Pfeiffer, is interviewing a former victim, and she's got a cross around her neck. One of the first people they interview says this in the trailer, how do you say no to God? And it gives you such a great sense of what a betrayal this was.
It really does a great job of capturing the priests as the monsters that they are, and it's one of the first movies I've seen where it explains just why they're called predators, because they literally prey on the weakest of the children in order to get off.
It talks about them choosing boys specifically, not out of any homosexuality, but because boys would be less likely to say anything.
And there's a few steady shots that are just incredible. One of the main reporters is going through lists of addresses of priests that have gone off on leave or really been moved due to molestation cases. And you see a shot of him walking down his street slowly and discovering that he actually lives right near one of those very priests. I want to address how they do such an effective job of demonizing these priests as monsters, but they don't portray the journalists as these faultless, noble heroes, because they fucked up too. They had several opportunities throughout the past 5 or 6 years to get on this case.
It's a very neutral movie. The Steadicam shots were just insane, and they were pretty frequent.
They were.
And there were montages. You had the montage of Ruffalo when he finally got the real damning evidence.
Fucking literally sprinting across Boston to get this fucking story.
Sprinting, driving, looking down the roads at the big church down the street. There's a lot about this movie that's just really effective.
Leo, Spotlight, great movie or greatest movie?
It depends on what you're asking. If we're asking greatest movie of the year, this has been just an incredible year. So that's kind of a complicated question. If we're asking greatest journalism movie, right, definitely, yes.
Well, I would argue First of all, I think it's the only journalism movie to come out this year.
Well, I'm talking greatest journalism movie ever.
Oh, sure. No,
Which
it is
totally-
absolutely a front-runner for greatest journalism movie of all time. It is right up there with All the President's Men.
Yeah, that's its only real competition.
Yeah.
Well, Paul, what did you think? of
As you were
Spotlight?
saying, I think it's really a testament to how great this year is that this isn't in my number one spot. Because any other year, except for maybe last year with Birdman, in the past 5 years, I would consider this my movie of the year.
Mm-hmm.
But this year we've had such great movies, such as Ex Machina, such as Steve Jobs, such as Mad Max Fury Road, that it's hard to place a true number one right now.
Yeah.
So I would recommend seeing Spotlight as soon as possible.
Absolutely, as soon as possible.
We drove something like 30 miles to go see this movie. It was well worth the trip.
Mm-hmm. We'll probably have to again.
Yeah. So if you can't see this movie right now because it's too far away, just wait maybe a month or two because it's going to be on the short list for Best Picture and it will be shown in the theater near you.
Don't wait, see it now.
Paul Wedding, Leo Knopp, Eastside Social Club, Spotlight. Cheers.